Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Killer B, the goddamn Witch Finder General. You gotta witch out, burn their asses up. Y'all know the routine and shit. Let me get this over with real quick. Thank all my supporters. Brainstorm Homeschool Academy, Sister P. Glad to hear that you popped back up and stuff. I'll worry about you for a second. Um, Victor Always, Yasu, Nate Springfield, Josh, Siberius the Sleeping Serpent, Myron Edwards, Sahara Jr., and San Miguel TV. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. I'm just bored, halfway drunk. Or I'm not even drunk and shit. I just drunk a beer and shit. I ain't drunk, but I'm just tired along with it. Drinking and tired. Y'all know how that shit go. Well, I guess probably some of y'all know how this shit go. But I don't know. I'm just sitting here laying in bed and shit, just chilling. I ain't made a video in a little bit, so I decided to hit the live button just to see what the fuck's going on. Let's see where this video take me. Uh, Zero Black. Uh, Shala Ham. What's up? Zero Black. I never see that name in here before, but what's up, man? Uh, he said Shala Ham. I feel you. And shit. That's right. Eat ham. I just got through eating some goddamn salami and shit. Salami and cheese sandwiches and shit. So, yep. Shalama ham. Um, I don't know. I've been chilling and shit. Uh, yeah, last time I'm busy with school and shit. I graduated. Class thing I was taking, and my final exam, I got the highest score in the class and shit. That was dope. I didn't expect that, but that's what happened. Um, Hour and a half test and shit. I did that shit 45 minutes. Waste, burned up the rest of the 45 minutes checking my shit. I was the only Black American to pass. All the other niggas in the class didn't pass. That shit. They had one Black American and shit. That was my boy. And shit. That was my road dog and shit. Shout out to Q and shit. I thought that nigga was gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? If I was gonna fail that shit, I was like, yo, Q gonna pass that shit. Like on some real shit. My homeboy didn't pick it, but he going back to retake it and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, Arm my boy up and shit. You know what I'm saying? Gave him the inside scoop and shit. So my boy gonna be like, fucking, he gonna be straight next time around. So Monday, he allowed him to take a retest and shit. So oh yeah, and Bill Hill. Um yeah, he allowed they allowing him to take the retest and shit. Well, all of us got us were able to get a second chance at the test and shit. So he going back Monday to retake it. I know he gonna pass that and shit. But yeah, niggas ain't shit. Like this major upset for Black Americans. I was the only Black motherfucker to pass. Well, there was other Black motherfuckers that passed, but they weren't like Black Americans. Like two young kids, they were Jamaican, two Jamaican young kids. They're like probably 19 and 20. They passed. Um, had this one dude and shit. He was cool and shit from South Africa. He already had a mechanical engineering degree and shit. So he passed. We had some Puerto Ricans and shit. I think only one of them passed. I think two passed. The girl, I don't know how she passed, but she passed. She said she passed. But I know the other dude that I was cool with, he passed. The other dude failed. Then we had three white folk and shit. All of them passed and shit. You know, white people pay attention to shit. Um, the rest of the niggas, the rest of the class was just niggas, and they failed, all of them. There were 15 people in the class. The rest of the niggas they failed. Not coming to class and shit, talking while the instructor teaching, taking breaks and shit, and not coming back from the break, and all types of shit, fuckery. And the niggas just didn't pass. So, what you expect? What you expect? Looking crazy. I don't know how anybody could want to take that course and not come to class, like spend all that time going, then all of a sudden not go to class and shit. And like two of them didn't even show up to the Friday exam. So I was like, God damn, that's niggas for you. But fuck it, my ass was up in there. Sometimes they would let us out early. I'd be mad. I'm like, yo, I want to get as much time in as I can. So I already got job opportunities and shit lined up. I had an interview Friday, the day after the test, the exam and shit. I got an interview. They supposed to call me back Monday and shit. I'm pretty sure I got the job and shit. But I was expecting a little bit more wage and stuff, but it's still a lot. It's more than I ever made before working on a job. So, you know what I'm saying? So that shit's straight. I got like 3 more other interviews and shit I got lined up, plus some more. I got 3 like interviews that I'm excited about. I put it like that. Then I got some more lined up and stuff. So they called me Monday and shit. I'm gonna take that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Better than nothing. I'm gonna take that motherfucker, get that bread, and build my skills up, and then move on and shit to something better. I don't know. It might turn out good for me. We're at that place, so I might stay. I don't know, but it seemed like a cool environment. Um, the machine and stuff is running. It's shorter runs, so I won't be there just sitting down looking at a machine running. Um, their machining times are like from 3 to like 13 minutes. So I'm gonna be busy, like, and with that, I feel is good because it's gonna allow me to get more practice and work experience in because it's gonna constantly keeping me moving all day. And they told me they're gonna have me on more than one, running more than one machine at once. So that's just gonna be dope. Um, I don't know. I'm going back for more advanced courses. Um, in February, I got plans for that, and that should be dope because that's going to be dealing with more of what I'm like really want to specialize in the industry. And shit, I'm thinking I might even go to goddamn the university and start, you know what I'm saying, mechanical engineering. To get me a mechanical engineering degree. You know what I'm saying? So shit, I got good expectations and stuff. I got, you know what I mean? So I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers hating on a nigga. A lot of motherfuckers hating on a nigga and shit. I got a lot of motherfuckers that supported me and shit. You know what I'm saying? Through the thing. Shout out to them. Brainstorm Homeschool Academy and shit. I did it. You know what I'm saying? He told me I had this shit. I had it. Motherfucker. But yeah, I had this motherfucking shit. So it was funny how I passed the test. Like what I studied so hard on and shit, none of that shit was on the fucking exam. That shit is crazy. None of that shit was on the exam. And it's a funny story, like what I came across before the exam that helped me pass. Like it was crazy. A lot of shit, extra studies that I did, like at the library and stuff, that helped me pass too. If it wasn't for me going to the library, I don't think I would have made it. I had some extra notes and shit that some shit that wasn't even covered. I don't even think in class, like that I remember the shit wasn't even covered. But I got the information from the library that motherfucker helped me out and shit. So I think I had what would you call that score? I had the highest score in the class. There was the white chick that was there. She already was in the industry, got laid off, and she was taking the course to kind of catch up and get more up to date with the technology and stuff. So I scored higher than her, which is kind of crazy. Um, I would never expect that because we always looked at her for answers and shit because she was already doing this shit before, like for years. So um, I don't know. Some crazy shit been going on and stuff. I've been looking at YouTube a little bit, but not really. Same type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I'm at the point now, like, yo, fuck it. If y'all the motherfuckers don't get it, y'all just don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? What you want me to do? I think I got enough videos and shit for y'all motherfuckers to like get the fuck up out that shit and know what's up. But goddamn, sorry ass motherfuckers and shit. But hey, that's you. If y'all that what y'all want to do, that's what you want to do. Yes, your right as a motherfucking American, motherfucker. America allow you to be a stupid motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They ain't faulting you for it. Nagy Springfield and shit. Let me hit up Nagy and shit. Let me see where Nagy at. Hold on. Nagy got some news and shit. Sister Cherry, you watching and shit. Nagy trying to get at your head and shit. Um, I think it'll be good. I think it'd be a fun debate. Now, no crazy shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That you usually like expecting. But I think Nagy will do a good job on it. So I'm gonna present that to you. I talked to Nagy a little bit more about it. I think it'll be a good like debate or just a talk or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I know y'all know how to act and shit. Nagy civil and stuff. Uh Let me see here if I can get him up here. God damn, he messed the shit out of me. I didn't even see this. Oh shit. Nagy stupid. Nagy said, let me turn on my blinds and shit. Anytime I miss some Nagy messages, I go check it out. That should always be a treat. Some shit make me laugh. But his question, I'm just gonna put it out there live and Cherry Love listening. Says define Christianity and explain its beliefs without using any of the dogmas of the Eastern or Western Church. Or can you? So Cherry, you listening to that and stuff? They trying to get at you. I know you a good sport and stuff, and I know you down for the challenge and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I already told him that. I'm like, yo, why Sister Cherry? I don't know if you be watching her videos and shit, but Sister Cherry, she truck tight with that Christian history, like and stuff. So this is gonna be like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep my ass up out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I moderate and I'm gonna have somebody else, I'm gonna get somebody else, like maybe Brother Heru, to moderate. Like neutral people that ain't gonna have no type of feelings or no shit like that. And Heru's a good dude. Like Brother Heru's a real good dude and shit. I would trust him just by anybody on the internet and shit with something like that. I totally agree that he would be totally fair about everything and not be biased or anything. So I think that'd be awesome. I don't know what you guys think. You know what I'm saying? Put in the comments or chat. Um, I don't know that any of y'all, you know what I'm saying, that's watching and stuff. No, Sister Cherry, y'all can hit her up and let her know. I'm gonna hit her up later and stuff. I'm just seeing the message because I asked them to put it like in a question and stuff so I can present it to Sister Cherry. I think that'd be a good talk or debate. I totally believe that it would. Nagy surprises me with a lot of shit. Also say Rob Rack talking about him again, having fantasies about him and Judah. So like that shit crazy and shit. Yeah, Judah Nazra, lusting after other men's women again. Um, just like before, and you know, all the tour nights, so-called tour nights over there, are all just letting that shit slide and ignoring it while it's all going down. And I had to deal with another Israelite that he's like one of those tour only Israelites. He's like a new fresh tour only ex-GMS member that's under a brother named Azariah that I was with. Chakma Gadaliah That be if you watching and stuff, come up on here. I want to ask you some questions about Azariah and stuff. Like I don't got no kind of beef against Azariah, but if that nigga trying to be a cult leader and shit, he get it like everybody else. But he's a cool dude. Like he was always a nice dude and stuff like that. He wasn't on no like rah rah some bullshit or whatever. Um, I don't know what he putting in the students' heads or the students acting off his own thing, but the dude's making a lot of bearing a lot of false witness without explaining himself. So if that's your student, he's making your congregation look really bad, really bad. He put up a post today about going to work and having to pay for a car note and your rent and paying for clothes. I'm like, hey, buddy, welcome to the real world. You enjoy being a slave. I'm like, I'm not a slave, sir. I'm not a slave. I work for everything that I get. A slave doesn't get paid. A slave is forced into labor without pay. You go to work voluntary. You go to work voluntary. And you get paid for your work. And there's laws to protect you so you always get paid for your work. So if you're struggling and can't maintain the payments on a car, clothing, and shelter, that means that you're spending beyond your means. You know what I mean? You're spending beyond your means. So that's not the employer's fault. That's your fault. So you put yourself in the struggle mansion. You did that. Your employer didn't do that. The goddamn government didn't do that. Or the goddamn the white man, the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, goddamn it, as you can say, didn't do that. You did that. That's your decision. So I continue to explain some stuff. You know, Hebrew Israelites like to jump around, especially when um they can't hold the topic. You know what I mean? They can't defend their claims. So he went from there to Garrett Morgan. We're living off of the stoplights. We're living off the black man back or some shit. I forgot how he put it, but it was an actually absolutely ridiculous claim that he made, saying that basically Garrett Morgan, he didn't say Garrett Morgan. I doubt he even knew who invented the stoplight, but who they say invented the stop, who blacks, eccentrics, Afrocentrics say invented the traffic light. Garrett Morgan did not, I repeat, he did not invent the traffic light. The traffic light was already invented by a white man, I believe, in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. What Garrett Morgan did was improve on the traffic light. He improved on it. And then he sold it to GE. So from that point on, Garrett Morgan has nothing to do with it. He has nothing to do with any of that shit. He sold it. And GE went on to make it or do whatever. They own the patent for it now. He sold it. And I continue to tell them, if you work for a company and that you develop something to make production run better, faster, or whatever in the company, right? And the company allows to take that invention that you made at the job and use it, right? That is not yours. It is the company's. Let me explain how. The invention was made on company time. You're at work, you're on the clock working for the company. Then, right? Then you use their materials to invent the project, to invent the item or whatever you're making, right? You use their tools, you use their computers, you use their plotters to make the blueprint. You use um, their screwdrivers and milling machines or lathes or whatever, right? Drills or whatever to make that product on company time. So that is no longer your event, it's the company's. They have the rights to it. And it happens all the time. My instructor in school, he invented something to help production run at Sikorsky airplane or air whatever company. They make the Black Hawk helicopter. They make the presidential helicopters and shit like that. They're also making that new CH 443, I think it's called. It's the world's biggest helicopter. That's about to be in production. And hopefully I'm gonna have my hands in that once I get this job, because a lot of parts and stuff will be made through various manufacturers and stuff throughout the state to manufacture that helicopter. It's a helicopter that it can literally pick up your home and fly away with it. Like literally, like if you got a ranch house or whatever, and you can scrap that house up, it can literally lift that house up off the ground and fly away with your home. Yeah, they say it's the world's biggest helicopter or whatever. So that's pretty awesome. I definitely hope I have like my hands in that. I got a interview that I potentially get for a company that's actually going to be making a lot of parts and stuff for that helicopter. I would definitely have to get military clearance and stuff to be able to help work on that thing, which I'm pretty sure I might get that clearance. So that would be cool. Um, hopefully. So he failed to understand how those things work. He went on again, said that worms are in my brain because I eat pork. I will asked him politely, like, can you prove this? Right? Can you make these? You making a lot of claims here without explanation, without the proof. So what it does is make you look like a fucking straight up asshole, like a straight up fool, right? You want me to show my face? I'm asking you why. Do you want to see if I'm pretty, nigga? You want to see if I'm your type, nigga? Is that what it is? Because he said I asked for motherfuckers. I wanted to see people face. I ain't never asked no motherfucking grown man on internet, let me see your face. I ain't never done that. I'll close my fucking channel today if anybody can produce that information. I'll shut my shit down today. So these Hebrew Israelites, they like to, whether they with the so-called with the New Testament or not, the nutcases. This is a man that called and said, I'm coming to see you and all this shit or whatever. I'm like, well, you can come, nigga. You can try. I guarantee you won't leave the way you came. Guarantee that. Guarantee that. Guarantee it. But it's crazy shit that's going on. Hit the like button, y'all. I'm glad to see at least 7 motherfuckers up in here and shit. That's cool. Let me drop the link and shit. My bad, I forgot to drop the link. Anybody want to come on here? Yeah. Oh, what else here? What else has been going on that I've been observing? Um, hmm. I don't know. I don't want to pass out on y'all niggas and shit. Anybody want to chit chat or whatever? The links up in the chat. Uh, Let me look up something here. Let's see something. Uh, G-H. Is this it here? Nope. Oh, somebody came up in here. Robert Paulson, my man. What up, bro?
Oh, nothing. I was actually just gonna. I was glad I actually caught your stream because I was gonna ask you more about that Sam that God, how you say his last name?
Who?
So the one that the PhD guy professor that does talks about narcissism, Sam Vakin.
Yeah, what the fuck's his name, yo?
Vinikin.
Yeah.
I
I
never
can't even think of his name now.
Right.
Vacuum. I think it's Vicham. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
I've been watching a few of his videos, but the thing I was curious about, and I'm still wrapping my head around, is so is he against or for promiscuous sex? Like,
Oh damn! I ain't get that far into his shit.
right?
Damn, he was talking about shit like that.
Yeah. Well, he had talked about. I had had a chance to really sit down and focus on the video because, in truth, I have a third dog now.
A third what?
A third dog.
Oh,
6
okay.
cats. Hold on, that's not the end of it. 4 bull pythons. A rattery because we actually raise rats for both feeding and pets. Yeah, and I have a rabbit and a parrot. So my my time to sit down and view shit is very short. Like very short. Like I have to be quick because something's yelling at me to feed it. Like about every 20 fucking minutes. So
shit, that's crazy.
Right. So, but I enjoy it. I enjoy having a lot of animals, taking care of them, whatnot. But I had gotten to sitting around and watching a few of his videos. I noticed he got touched on the subject of like promiscuity. I also noticed he had a few comments about feminism, which I'm not going to tear him down for that because I have my own, you know, and they're not necessarily against feminism. It's more or less what I want to say is the more damaging side to identity politics that has kind of exploded over the past couple of years, like that Twitter rage mob that just gets mad at you for just about anything and refuses to politically explain anything to you or lay their point out in a rational way.
Yep, that's because they watching YouTube videos and shit.
Yep. LeftTube has contributed to this. There's been some individuals that aren't the best vocal voices for the left that have gotten popularity, like on social media, like unfortunately. I mean, Vosh already. There's a lot of people like in the left that really, really dislike Vosh or his channel because, I mean, already this guy is kind of okay. So I get what he was trying to say, but he just said it the way you don't fucking say it.
Yeah.
Basically, what he was trying to say is like pedophilia is like a mental problem, so we should deal with these people like mental patients. But he's being too loose about it, and he's not taking the victims into account. Like, which is a big serious thing you have to take into account with that. Like, yes, we may be for abolishing prisons and replacing this with other forms and ways of rehabilitating people back into society. But you cannot cut the victim out of the equation. You know, that victim is still there. That person still went out of their way and victimized that individual. Like, there has to be something in compensation, basically. So like he basically he'll say things like this, which tends to like it's irritated some people on the left, like, and I can see why because you've already got slanderous propaganda coming out saying, you know, like people in the radical left support what's that weird pedophile group? I'm trying to think of it. It's for like pedophilia rights or some shit. NAMBLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've heard people try to say, you know, like Antifa is affiliated with NAMBLA, which is that's ridiculous in itself because Antifa is very, very loose.
I don't even think NAMBLA was an actual thing. I think that was like some kind of like what you call it? Like maybe something that somebody started up, but I don't think that shit actually caught ground to have a voice and
Right.
to speak about something. Because motherfuckers will take somebody's idea or something. They could have been trolling, and they'll take that shit. Because I was on someone's channel a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, some shit like that, right? This crazy
Yeah.
ass black lady. And one of her viewers in the chat said that they're making pedophilia illegal. You was on the show when I explained all that shit. You
Yeah.
was on the show for that.
That's just
And
ridiculous.
yeah, so I was ready for her to actually speak on that too. But they didn't. But I believe a lot of that shit is hype and like non-existent. And it's just like some YouTube shit that people are just like putting up. It could be true. Like somebody actually tried to do that in the past and that shit never caught no ground. But
It wouldn't surprise me. There's been some pretty whacked out ideas that have floated around in the past, like fucking 10 years alone.
they said they were trying to that they added the P to uh the LGBTQ community or whatever. They was adding a P to it, which came out to be false. Like, know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
I can see like them might not saying them like the LGBTQ community, but I'm saying like them as like those people that might want to have some shit like that. I don't see it taking any ground or because like it's weird too. Because how would you kind of categorize that? Does those people actually only want children that are underage, or is it people that are just way younger than them? Say
Right.
like a 70-year-old man, right? That
Right.
want
It's
a 22-year-old fucking girl. Like
right.
legally, that's not considered pedophilia.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. Like, and I mean, I wouldn't judge something like that. I'd be like, damn, that dude's old. And you with a really old fucking dude.
Yeah,
But I mean, what the thing with pedophilia is it has to do with undeveloped minds and children.
right,
And when you
right.
sexually touch a child with an undeveloped mind, like you cause them a fucking tremendous amount of
Amount of
damage.
damage. Right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right. So it all has to do with how developed the person is. Once they are past like 18, like you tend to start getting an idea of what you want. Like just at
Right.
18, like even though you're immature as fuck, I will say at 18, you start to get a vague idea of what you want. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And by the time you hit 20, you have a little better idea of what you want. By about your
Yep.
mid 20s, you're kind of on track to what you want to do. By your 30s, you probably about figured it out. Like,
Yep. And I can tell you when you hit 40, you pretty much know where the fuck you supposed to be at and what you fucked up on and shit. But
yep,
usually it's kind of too late.
right.
Like I just got off the phone with somebody, this chick that was a good friend of mine, and she kept going for old motherfuckers. She was like 20 something years old and gonna fuck around and marry a 50 fucking year old man. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you thinking? Like this jacked her whole life up and shit. Like she's a nice girl, very nice girl and shit. Smart and shit, but not making smart decisions. But I don't know, like shit crazy. So you 20 something years old, you grown. You do what you fuck you want to do. Even your parents ain't gonna say shit to you about your decisions and shit. In most cases, like you grown, you gotta learn. Hey, I did my fucking job. That's how a lot of parents look at it. I did my fucking job. I ain't stressing myself out. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You ain't gonna like it, so like you just gonna go do what you're gonna do. So you're gonna have to find out on your own. But yeah, it's crazy. They gotta have things to protect like children that like their minds aren't developed. And since their minds ain't developed, they have some older motherfucker come in and further fuck they fucking shit up. And then the United States government or whatever, and the people of the government and the people of the country and stuff are gonna have to fix those problems. or have to not literally fix them, but contribute to fix that person's problems and their mistakes and shit that they made in their life. Whether it's like drug abuse or like prison or like anything like poverty to the point like where they're not looking for a job and mental illness and all types of shit like that. So you got to make laws to protect these people and protect the goddamn rest of the citizens of the United States that happen to have to pay for that shit at a later date. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking right now. Not saying that like that's just what it is, but that was just going through my mind. Oh shit, he dipped off. Oh, what's up, Decipher? I didn't see you up in here. A lot of pedophilia is mental illness, but there is still a victim, and they should still be criminalized, but also give them treatment. Yep, absolutely. Voss, is that the dude that we were talking about? Decipher?
Yep.
Hey, what's up? Sorry about that. I'm back.
It's all good.
But you were saying Vosh or something?
Decipher said Vosh. I don't know what you mean by that. I was thinking that he might meant that guy that we were talking about.
Yeah, he's probably talking about Vosh. He's become like a big popular amongst the more uneducated left. Like he's become kind of a cult of personality on YouTube.
Okay. I never even heard. So that's not the dude that we were talking about before.
No, that would be a dude. The leftist one I mentioned that was kind of he was the subjects he had said about pedophilia. Yeah, he's talking about him exactly. Vosh sucks. I know exactly who he's talking about.
Okay,
he's
all right.
Yeah, we in my old leftist group we used to make pedophile memes about him, but yeah, I know. He's bad. And it's mostly because he's not genuine with his debates. Like he's uneducated in them, and he's not genuine on them. Like he uses like really shitty debate tactics. Like I'm not very good at debate. Like I don't try to take that under my wing, you know.
Yeah.
But like he just uses like really shitty like straw man tactics that are just really frowned upon within debates.
Right. Kind of like Mr. Nasty we deal with over here and shit. Kind of like that. Like, yeah, they just say like the dumbest shit and don't think anything of it. Don't even realize how stupid and retarded they sound and shit. And they just still talking. But there's people out there that actually agree with them. Like, you know what I mean? We're normal society and shit saying like this dude got some serious fucking mental issues and shit.
Right.
And well, the rest of the short bus joined right in with him.
Yep. Yeah, no, like that's pretty normal though. Like, I mean, it's easy to start a cult of personality nowadays because of social media being so dominant as it is, and anybody can make themselves like a popular face. So, I mean, everybody can really at this point form their own little cult of personality. It's terrifying, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Everybody is allowed to try, at least try. Yep. Everybody got the room to at least try.
Right. And this dude just says Vosh is a covert communist, Leninist, Marxist. He's like none of those. Like he's more like reactionary, like off about a lot of subjects. Like
yeah,
uses a lot of straw mans. He thinks he's a leftist. I mean, which is cute, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of obscure people in the anarchist corner of the internet that say some obscure reactionary things and don't read books. Like.
Speaking of anarchy, though, like that was something that I was really into. It didn't have enough literature to really learn about it, but like in my whole punk rock like days and shit like that, and like anarchy kind of sounded like something that I would want. Like, you know what I mean? And because they had this like what I did learn or whatever, they had this real like convincing spiel about how things would work. Like you would if I could remember and stuff, like I'm happy.
Well, there's historical examples of anarchism, but they're very short and brief.
Right.
And the two more popular ones were birthed in the middle of war, which is that's the big stick about it is people put up is they'll see like, you know, if a society could survive like this, being barraged from all sides, then they usually try to say in a simplistic manner. I mean, there's more to it than that, but they usually try to say in a simplistic manner that it could survive on a larger scale. But then again, you're talking about 20th century politics, and the problem now is we face like a whole new deal and myriad of different things, which is why modern anarchists are taking up new positions and stuff, is because the old stuff is good to refer back to, but it's not gonna solve all the problems we have now, because there's more problems that have built now. You have the problem of social media, idolism, all sorts of things that erupted that weren't around in the 20s and 30s when like some of these early anarchists were writing about this. Like, but if you were interested, I wouldn't check out Proudhon. Proudhon's actually where they say it all starts from, but Proudhon is actually really anti-Semitic. I wouldn't suggest reading him. He's just kind of honestly a little pipe dreamish, and I mean, you can if you want, but he's a little pipe dreamish and he's horribly anti-Semitic, which is bad. Bakunin's a little better. He did have some spurts of anti-Semitism, I guess, in like personal notes or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, he left it mostly out of his books, from what I understand. But there's Mikhail Bakunin, who is kind of considered like a founding father for mutualism, which, forgive me, I am somewhat still new and learning to these things myself. Mutualism is kind of, it allows, in a sense, like a money system to exist, but you can't make over a certain amount. If I'm getting that correct, I could be wrong on that. I have to go back and read a lot over mutualism, because Mikhail Bakunin stuck to me more with his on an esoteric level because of his rants about God and the devil, but but he was kind of notorious for mutualism. And then you have Peter Kropotkin, who is who I align myself a lot more with, or a lot of modern anarchists or anarcho-communists align themselves with, who is the founding father of mutual aid, which was, he was basically a biologist, and he felt disillusioned at the time with theory being dominated with social Darwinism. And in other words, the theory of social Darwinism being that, you know, the strong survive, you know, it's natural to want to be rich and powerful and act wolf-like, you know, it's a natural part of the human condition. He disagreed with this. So he went over as a biologist and studied like the animal kingdom and added a myriad of different animals that were not taken into consideration into his writing, and basically had kind of formed a hypothesis that basically on an extended timeline in Darwinism, the animal that survives the longest is the one that mutually works with the environment around it. Right. So, and you can see examples of this in like certain animals that'll act aggressive or territorial being unterritorial towards birds cleaning ticks or certain parasites off of their back. Right. It mutually benefits both of them. In other words, the parasites are pulled off the animal's back. It feels more comfortable, and then so on.
We got Decipher on the panel. What up, Decipher?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, man. Good seeing you, man. Good seeing you on here.
Good see you, bro.
So what's going on?
Now, I had a story about Vosh. So when the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing was going on, if you guys, if this guy Robert, he probably knows.
Yeah, Kyle
he was
Rittenhouse
basically
president.
I haven't kept up with Vosh lately, but I'm interested.
Oh yeah. So at first he was saying people shouldn't have the right to defend themselves against a unruly mob, and that you should submit yourself to mob rule if you're being chased down by a large number of people. Right. So that's why he was wrong. And then he like changed his tune over the last few weeks, and now he's like, oh yeah, he had the right to self-defense, but before he was saying no, he didn't. You have to bend over to the mob.
Right. I think the kid shouldn't even approach the mob, like, from the get-go. Like, everything was fucked as soon as he approached the mob with the gun. Like, because it doesn't matter if you have a gun or not. You rile people up by pointing a gun at them, they're gonna come at you. Like, this is just but he wasn't thinking. He was a kid. He's like 18. I want to know who the fuck put a gun in his hands and sent him across state lines, because that really the fucking responsibility should fall there. Like,
I heard something about this going across state lines was false.
Yeah, some kind of technicality about that it was like BS. I know they threw out one of the gun charges.
You know, it's hard to be precise on that because gun laws are constantly changing from state to state. Like, so you really you don't know. And I mean, laws are just like that in general. Like American law is just like that in general. Laws change from state to state and they change every so many years. So there's no way you could ever say like California is going to have the same permanent laws forever because they'll change over time as people vote different ones in and whatever. You know,
right?
But that whole thing was crazy though. But shit, I would have shot the shit out of them motherfuckers too though. I would have shot the shit out of their ass.
Well,
I mean, he had no choice.
Yeah, not because of the fear alone. Like the fear alone of having multiple people run at you is good, and you have a thing in your thing in your hand that your brain is going to tell you your power is here, like as a survival method. So yeah, 18-year-old kid with a gun. He's got people.
Somebody
that of course he's going to get skittish and fucking shoot.
Somebody that age, with a mob like that was there. Without saying like, you know what I'm saying, the type of people was there, shit. But that type of mob would have my first guess would have said those people are plotting to get that gun away from that kid, to take that gun from him. You know what I mean? Maybe not to shoot him with it, but just to take it.
Right.
Because really, like this little kid,
they shouldn't have done. Like they should have just tried to like. People try to get on this heroic shit. Like at that point, you want to try to find your other peers around you and get them into cover and get them to safety. Like you're, unless you've got the military training to take down a guy with a gun, your job at that point should be keeping people safe from the gun. Like keeping them out of fire. Like, you know, you don't have to be Rambo. Everybody in America has this Rambo mentality, you know? So they think
somebody with that kid. Like
I'm as pro-gun as they come, but I admit, like, there's a lot of fucking dudes that are just like, they just want to be the next John Wayne or some shit.
Yeah. Like, I support firearms as well. Like, I don't think violence comes from firearms. It comes from the systemic problems in society itself. Like, it's not like people just, if society was a complete utopia and you threw a gun at it, everybody would just start getting murdered. No, like there has to be inspiration behind that gun for it to go off.
Oh yeah,
and then it can.
Yeah, it's like it's like, well, why did some guy rob a store? Well, because he was fucking poor. That's why he used a gun to rob a store.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit crazy. So what was you gonna say about this Vosh guy? Because I never heard of him. I thought you were talking about that psychiatrist. Or whatever.
Just basically like he'll flip flop his opinions because I noticed a lot of other leftists that like are on that basically think like Destiny. Destiny is another YouTuber, and Destiny didn't like his perception because he actually believed Kyle Rittenhouse was in the right. So over time he flip flopped his position to earn his leftist back. That like said, no, that's not cool. You can't just let a mob assume they're right and just subject yourself to them. So there was like a leftist divide among all the lefties because of him.
Oof. God,
it was entertaining because, like you said, Robert, you said he has a lot of disingenuous arguments. Like, yeah, that's true, man. He certainly does. He really does.
There's been other leftists that have called Vosh out. Like, I'm trying to remember who they were because it's been a while. Sometimes I have to politically like shut off from like politics for a little bit because like I have anxiety and that shit.
Politics is so toxic.
It is. Yeah. Like that's why like I have to take personal breaks or else I'd be like a mental wreck right now.
Like I've learned like, you know, back in the day they say don't talk politics or religion at the dinner table, you know. I've learned not to do that if you're at work or around a large group of people that you don't completely know.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll tell
like, I'll be going to like
I'll
be going out to like hockey games and shit. You know, you meet like all these other players and you're just like, I don't want to say something. What if there's like 2 or 3 on the other side, and then I'm on bad terms with them because they can't see the other side's perspective. You know.
And some people take that shit to heart. Like these people that will just stop talking to you forever just because like you support one political party or whatever. That's
yeah.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
my dad
Outrageous.
always said, like I ask him who he voted for, he'd be like, "None of your fucking business." Like it's since I was a little kid. Like he
That's
never
funny.
discussed like politics. Like he go and vote, but he wouldn't discuss who he voted for.
Right? Like,
That's
And I
hilarious.
get it, like kind of like, you know what I mean? That's why they got that fucking curtain behind your ass when you fucking pulling them levers or whatever you doing. Like
right.
Yeah.
like I just registered to vote. I just registered to vote like last week.
Nice.
So I'm a registered voter now and shit. As a Republican.
There you go.
This shit, I like fuck it. I'm a Republican, goddamn it. But yeah, like my father wouldn't even tell me whether he Democrat or Republican or nothing. He'd be like, none of your business.
That's
Right.
funny.
Oh,
No, that's the best way to be about it. Honestly, it's like a modern way to be about it. Like, because
oh,
I mean, that has been like a problem. Like, it's even been a problem. Like in the current left now, that have been catching up on things. Like, apparently now, like I'm seeing other certain channels I've kept up with for years announce like, that they've been kind of like attacked by like Twitter mobs over, like just minute, like just nitpicky things, basically.
yeah.
It's like really like there is actual like oppression going on. There is actual things that should be like announced, but like they're going after like petty situations and like with people that are supposed to be allies, so it's just really all for spectacle in a sense. Like, so you have this kind of going on and it's creating some damage. Like it's creating some serious damage, like in a lot of ways. Like
Before the whole computer thing, it wasn't like that, like really, because people didn't know what people are voting for or who they voting for, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't put out there, and they weren't platforms for people to speak on that shit.
Yeah,
like you might have a radio station that might take some callers talking about politics or something like that, but other than that, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing else, like, you know what I mean? But now you got like Twitter and Facebook where people just putting all their business on the internet all day long. It creates this whole uproar if somebody don't believe in a certain political party or something.
Yeah.
And all the censorship that comes along with that is trash. Like so my old account, I've been on YouTube since like 2008, and I remember back then, if you search something in the search bar, you'll find like small channels like yours and mine and so forth.
Yeah.
But now, if you search for something, it's going to give you the mainstream media's like algorithms for their videos. You can't find the little guy to speak up for the regular person anymore.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard to find small channels. Like when they deleted my last account, it was hard to find yours, Killer B. I had to like search through like pages of all kinds of crap just to find your account. Yeah, just to find your account again and resubscribe.
Yeah, I had to scroll for a bit to find your stuff. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, and that's just because, like, really, that's just the monster of YouTube itself. Like, that's why I just kind of wanted to, like, I'm not really looking, like, when I started a channel, I wasn't like, I'm gonna do this for money or anything. It was just like, I'm just bored and want to record myself. Like,
I got flagged by YouTube the other day, like by YouTube, because that COVID video I did on that preacher that was speaking against vaccinations, and then he died from COVID and shit. Oh, I shouldn't say that shit on this motherfucker. I shouldn't bring that video I did the other day. Shit. I don't even want to say that word on this motherfucker.
Right, and that's because they're just banning shit for having the word COVID.
Yeah, that's how they did me. And then I appealed it, and I'm like, look, I'm not speaking against it. I'm speaking for it. Like I was talking about this jerk that was saying all this shit, and then he died of it. But then they gave me back the video, right?
Yeah,
but made it age restricted. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm like, damn.
But that's because it's become a corporate monster in itself, and obviously my argument is everything in capitalism is going to do that. Like, but
that's the bad thing to capitalism right there. Like, I don't like communism or fascism, but capitalism has its limit because you see what goes on with these monopolies, and then next thing you know, it's just another boot on your neck with a corporate logo.
Right. Look at Microsoft, for example. Like Microsoft, like it owns everything now. Like you can't get an alternative of anything but Microsoft. Like it's all produced through Windows, Microsoft, like all of it. It's
shit, and their video games suck. Like the new Halo sucks. Like video games aren't, like they used to be back in the day. You got to pay for downloadable content just to have a good game.
Yeah. They split games into portions and sell them to you like that at full price in multiple portions.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. Like, it's sad.
Like
but like I've caught all that.
Like my computer was kind of slow when I was using my Mac. I use my laptop now for streaming, but my Mac, I was trying to get into Fortnite, and I'm like, damn, I wasn't playing it like every day, but it seemed every time I turned on to play it, I had to do this crazy update that would just take fucking. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, this shit not even fun.
Yeah.
No, it's the only games I've been messing with are. I was playing Sea of Thieves because apparently that started out as a crappy game, and apparently it's gotten great, and it has. It actually is. It's pretty decent. And then No Man's Sky. That's the one that everybody keeps going on and on about. Like I tried that one out when it was on sale, and I was like, "Wow, this is decent." But in truth, I haven't played anything yet. I moved over to more like pen and paper games and painting miniatures and stuff like that. So. Because I have like 101 hobbies. So, like I haven't messed with the video game industry. And that's because I'm old enough to remember like when you paid for a video game and you got the whole fucking game. Like it was, you didn't pay for it like 4 portions. Like what the fuck?
Yep. You right about that.
Yep.
I never thought
Decipher, you got the new channel. What you got in store for it now?
I have no clue. So I'm afraid to talk about political shit or anything about the global sickness because they're just going to give me strikes and then delete this channel. So I don't know. I got a tiptoe on what kind of shit I talk about. I've been afraid to really make any videos about anything, to be honest.
So that what it was on? It was on that whole the C thing?
Yeah. The last video I made about that, it was my 3rd strike. So then they just deleted the old channel.
Damn, the motherfuckers, they ruthless with that shit too.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
Yeah, that shit crazy. I was shocked how they got me with that and shit. I was on the 2nd strike. I was like, well, goddamn. I like
right.
trying to bury my ass and shit. And I was like, yo, if this shit go off, I was like, yo, I'm never coming on this bitch again. Like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go. I was like, whoever didn't get that shit when I was doing it, fuck them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like shit. You gotta learn the hard way now.
I'm even afraid to talk about things like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, because it's almost like they'll say you're supporting domestic terrorism or some shit if you say someone had the right to defend themselves.
Right.
He the shit though. I like that little motherfucker and shit. He the shit.
Oh yeah.
His little bitch ass was crying and shit. When they motherfucking read him out guilties and shit, that motherfucker was breaking down and shit. I was like, goddamn, man, keep fucking hanging there, little motherfucker.
I'm honestly surprised. I'm surprised he didn't get charged with some bullshit.
For something. Yeah, right?
Like, and honestly, it's a good thing. It gives me a little bit of hope.
Yep.
Right. No, I was gonna say I'm not a fan of the boy, but like you don't make judgments like that on a personal opinion. Like personally, I wasn't personally amused with him when I saw the video.
Oh, I'm not either. I think he was looking to get himself potentially involved in something, and like you said, I think it was irresponsible for being so young and his parents kind of allowing him to go be like a vigilante. But on principle, I support everything he did because nothing was illegal.
They should have arrested his mom. If anything, they should have arrested his mom for that shit. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything. Her ass.
We're going to jail.
But you know what remember what he said? He said his mom was gonna try to get that motherfucker to go and hide it and go run.
That wouldn't surprise me. Like, wouldn't surprise me at all. Like
go to Mexico or some bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? His mom was like, oh hell no, they put my baby in jail.
Right. It's funny because people are real supportive of the jail system until it happens to them, and then they like.
But the shit he was involved with, like you know he was like out there trying to like, you know what I mean, be like
Yeah.
Rambo or whatever and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
there's some
Yeah.
he
responsibility
held
going
his
on.
own. He held his shit down.
He
Shot the shit
did.
out the motherfucker. They picked the wrong motherfucker that day. They picked on the
Yeah.
wrong motherfucker. And it was
Yeah.
hilarious though when he was walking down the street and he was trying to flag down the police, and the police just rolled by him like, "Hey, get the fuck out the road, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
And he, all of a sudden, he just put his hands down. Was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Yup. But shit, Kyle Rittenhouse for president. Fuck it.
Yeah, I got a sticker of him and put it on the back of my car. It's hilarious.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, it's a don't tread on me with Kyle sitting on the ground with an AR-15 with a yellow background.
Yo, that's so dope, yo. That is dope.
Yeah.
What I'm more concerned about though is because of his reckless actions, like a lot of innocent people are gonna die. Like it's actually kind of already started with the whole gun violence thing, especially not trying to like be politically narrow-minded in any way, but like there's actual there's actual sorry, coughing. There's actual leftists that have been shot, like ones that aren't even doing anything violent lately. Like there was a guy that came out at I gotta look up what protest it was, but he just came out over the top of a fucking mailbox with a pistol. He had his face covered up, some old guy, and he just started fucking hauling shots into these fucking kids. And like, if you think about it, that's terrifying because that could be someone like, you know, a family member of yours or some shit. And they're not even doing anything illegal. You know, like they're just just basic protesting, like in their generation, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
like,
I'd say the guy's an idiot, and unfortunately, it's usually the baby boomers that do like these idiot, you know, tote the line type things with their fucking guns, and then it like ruins it for everybody else.
Yeah, no, like I've actually got one of those guys down the street from me, and I'm like not even loud about my politics, like in public.
Yeah.
Somebody found out about him or something, and I swear I went down there for like a garage sale or something. And this guy was just talking about how he could build sandbags in his front yard and how Antifa was going to be invading on like the 4th of April, which none came and passed and nothing happened.
God damn.
Yeah, no, it was like real fucking crazy. I was like, holy shit, dude! Like your generation gets like way too hype about nothing.
See, that's the thing, like, I see a huge difference between someone carrying a gun, even openly. Like I'm a huge open carry advocate, but I think there's a difference between that and someone who brandishes and pulls it out or points it at people or shoots at people. Like that's a whole different extreme, and it's like doing one, it may deter crime, but then doing the other is like, unless you're justified in that use of force, you're basically being an ass clown.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that shit. Definitely.
So, and that guy just sounded like an idiot.
I was thinking about like gun violence and shit and how they want to ban guns. I was thinking, yo, this would be a good idea right here. Is to ban all violent like video games, even in movies and stuff. Like, say like a video game, like you go buy Grand Theft Auto, right? That should be when you go to the store to buy that. That should be like going to buy a porno.
Yeah.
And like just how if you show an underage kid a porno, you should get the same charge for giving an underage kid and shit a video game like fucking Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
And I think that shit would curb a lot of shit.
As much as I like video games, I see the issues games cause too, because it's like Call of Duties and shit. That's basically like propaganda to get young kids to want to join the military. Yeah. And then it's like Grand Theft Auto is propaganda to get, you know, inner city people to think, oh, hey, let's just do crime and steal cars and carjack. And then it's just like it feeds the beast system of like this whole fucking country.
Yep. Yeah, you know? Well, I mean, you do have that. That is like a common problem. This shit is the advocation that it's fun to be a criminal, and that's like an insidious way of the rich, like kind of pushing a certain lifestyle on you.
Oh yeah,
destroy your own existence for them, basically, because
so you can go in their prisons and they make money off of you getting locked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a cycle, basically, in a sense. So they'll put all sorts of propaganda out there, TV shows,
Yep.
neat video games, books about how, you know, it's cool to be a criminal and you should like people of certain criminal backgrounds and things like that. Like there is some certain situations with like the mob and shit like that, and there's reasons to explain why they did the crime they did, but it's still in a sense it's because of that problem that was
Yep.
there to begin with. Like
No,
basically,
it's the same with movies, man.
right.
It's like I believe like a lot of horror movies, their intent is to create serial killers and create demented, fucked up people. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of modern horror movies are made like very simplistic. I actually have an interest in horror all the way from the early writings to like later. Like slasher films kind of capitalized the fuck out of like the horror franchise, where like that's what you have a lot of nowadays. It's just like, hey, sex sells, so we're gonna have something with boobs running through the woods that looks terrified.
Right.
Which will attract all the wrong fucking people. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still interesting movies and fun to watch on their own. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like at the same time, like it's poor writing. A lot of these original movies were like just like literally posters and not even actual like scripts or anything that lazy people just put out and then made on the spot, like Jason and shit like that. Like they're really bad. Like, but when you go back into like early horror writing, it's much different. There is like sympathy written for the villain in a lot of cases, or they would go down a dark path because of a certain reason. It was very poetic in a sense, like, and then
Yeah.
that poetry kind of got drowned out by the birth of slasher films. And probably like the 50s as well too. Like I don't know. I mean it has a long history of being chintzy in general. Like I think that's the thing of it, but like there is some decent horror in some cases. Like I really like Lovecraft, even though a lot of people will be like, "Oh, he's racist." It's like, who cares? He in his house his whole fucking life. Like, literally, like the guy never walked outside. Like, and then he if I remember correctly, he like broke away from that aspect in his later years, and none of his books really had anything to do with that. They were more about like some weird creature coming out of like a sub dimension that you summon through like a fucking occult book that starts ripping people to pieces, like, which is interesting. It makes you feel like it's an interesting way to approach horror, because what he was showing there, and that kind of like poetry in a sense, is like the insignificance of man being on just a ball of dirt and being a little piece of dust in a universe of vastness, basically. In other words, like we know nothing, basically. In other words, it was encompassing that fear of really truly knowing nothing around you. Like,
Yep.
which is interesting. So some horror can catch like a certain aspect or a certain fear that we don't want to like confront and make us think about it. But some horror can just be like cheesily written just to sell you boobs. Like it's a 50-50. It really, within the society we live in, because it's individualist, it boils down to the individual, honestly. It is how it pans out. Did you guys actually, speaking of horror, did you guys ever watch the movie Puka?
No.
It was actually kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I never watched the second one or whatever. They came out with the second one. I don't know. I just watched the first one because it was interesting, and it was actually it kind of encompasses the old writing of horror, basically. In other words, or the concept of being like a warning or a metaphorical warning in a sense
Nice.
about taking on a certain personality or idea.
Yeah, I haven't watched movies much in the last 5 years, to be honest.
I don't blame you. Hollywood is about dead.
Yeah.
mediocrity sells, so they'll tend to sell you mediocre stuff as long as they can keep making money out of it. It's when they start to lose money is when they worry about it. So in my opinion, that won't stop until Marvel stops.
But yeah, getting back on Kyle Rittenhouse, I think that nut job ran over all those people at the parade is like revenge for that. I think he was probably pissed about Kyle's verdict.
I don't even know if that had like her. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but that dude's fucked up.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was about, but that dude's fucked up. Like he's got some serious head problems going on.
Yeah, like just to run human beings over carelessly like that, I don't get it.
It shows a real break from reality, in a sense.
I mean, doing that shit in like Grand Theft Auto is fun, but to do that in real life is kind of fucked up.
Right, like I said, it shows a total break from reality.
Yeah,
Not even with reality at the moment. Like that's totally mentally broken at the moment. Like that's a yeah.
yeah. It's like the peace truck in France, that radical Islamist that ran over a bunch of people like 5 years ago or some shit.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was even worse.
Oh god, there's all sorts of just minor shit like that though. That's why I never try to pay attention to, like, it sounds crude and artless, but I never try to pay attention to minor crimes like this because they aren't really much of anything to me more than like a reflection of like the incitement of violence within society itself, like the embracement of it, because even when we say we've been like peaceful, we in a sense have been like very favoritist towards the idea of like barbarism and war. We've always been like very favoritist towards it within like a lot of within Western civilization for the most part, and certain Eastern cultures. Like you can critique and stuff, like, but there's always been a big emphasis on warrior and warrior pride and all this other stuff. And a sense of honor, being the biggest, toughest animal in the room, in a sense. And this can be damaging. Like this can be, and we're seeing the effects of it because when you keep preaching that, of course you're going to see, in rough areas, people are going to act more savage because you're telling them there's something honorable in this. So they find other ways to find an honorable way to live, whether it be by gangs or whatever else. That emphasis on warrior mentality.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised that like radical Islam kind of died down over the last few years. It hasn't been like radical Islam attacks anymore. It's just kind of gone away.
Yeah, it's a fringe group to begin with. Like a lot of little fringe groups like that they're capable of hurting small amounts of people, which is horrible. Like in itself, it's horrible, but it doesn't encompass the entire community of Islam, and it's like weird fringe groups off of it, and I don't know. There's some crazy shit going on in some groups, like. It's just like how you have like crazy like religious zealots in the South and shit that live in the backwoods. You got somewhere over the you got same shit going on with Islam. Like it's just,
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what the future holds. Like, if they're just gonna keep pushing radical terrorist ideologies, or because I wonder, like, what if that stuff in Ukraine pops off, and let's say the Russians invade. Next thing you know, we get into a conflict with them. It turns into almost a world war. Like,
Yeah.
can you actually see with how politically polarized people are in this country? Would they actually come together in the name of Americana, or would they just still be arguing about if they should go to Starbucks or not because the cups they give out are racist or whatever?
We'd collapse. Like right now, if we got in a war with Russia, we would collapse. And the thing is it wouldn't be good. Like a lot of people, like certain people try to be like, yeah, the American government would collapse. That'd be good. But the problem with that is you can't get rid of the government unless you have like something to replace it with. Like
Yeah.
ideas to replace it with, and a collaborated group of people to help bring that replacement. Like, or else it's you're gonna fall to Mad Max, like literally. And that's exactly what's gonna happen. Like, if we go to war right now, we'll just fall to fucking Mad Max. Like, it'll literally. I honestly do believe that'll happen. Some people disagree with that, but like, I honestly feel like, yeah, if we went to war right now, we'd implode on ourselves. We can't take it. Like,
well, because like back when 9/11 happened, the country wasn't so divided, so everyone came together for like America. But nowadays, I don't even think people would give a shit. They'd just be like, all right, let it burn.
yeah. Well, because you have so many people that are against, it's become popularized. Like, there's even people within the right that are like anti-government. So it's like, so popularized to be anti-government. Like, yeah, that shit would just collapse in like a fucking minute. Like, it really would.
So that's a great point, and it I can't help but wonder, because like obviously our country has fucking problems, it's no secret, but I can't help but wonder how much of this shit was actually pushed by our political adversaries as a form of propaganda to get us divided, so that way we don't unite. Because they did that in World War II. Like, if you look at World War II war propaganda all over Europe and shit to like, get people sympathetic to whatever side they're on. It was heavy, and it came in the form of like newspapers and posters. But now you got to think it's all just done on the internet with different talking heads and circle jerks.
Right. Well, see, the thing is you've got that's the one thing is the American government is pretty, as broken as we are as a population. Like, yeah, getting into another war would be hard for them to pull off.
Yeah.
But as far as keeping a good dominant thumb over us, like they got a good grip on that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you can take that all the way back to like pre-60s, like COINTELPRO, like you've got all sorts of. I mean, yeah, our government's good at keeping a thumb on us. Like, so it's they know the propaganda when it comes to, and it's not. That shit isn't as damaging, and there's such a minority that are swayed by it. It's more internal problems is what they're worried about. Like, and in other words, they were, obviously they were worried about the riots and stuff like that. So, they were real worried about infiltrating certain groups like BLM and stuff like that, and like trying to get infiltrated into those groups. But in a sense, when it comes to like foreign adversaries, like no, we have like some of the best military equipment that you could fucking imagine. Like, where do you think all our tax money goes? Like, all this tax money they're sucking up. We've got like stealth fucking battleships and like
I know there's kind of like troll farming, like. And that's one thing the left was right about in the 2016 election. Like, yeah, there were Russian troll farms shilling for Trump because it benefited Vladimir Putin to have Trump win. As much as I liked Trump, that was a true criticism. So, like, how much of just troll farms to shape and morph public opinion to basically getting two sides hating each other? How much of that is like foreign? I can't help but wonder that.
Right. We're not as easy to infiltrate as they lead on. We're not as easy to infiltrate as they fucking lead on. I mean, you're talking about the country that has the capability of just drone bombing you from a seat like some video game shit.
Yeah.
We're not that easy. I mean, I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, but we're not that easy to infiltrate. We're definitely not we wouldn't consider ourselves, well, we're not necessarily first world anymore in a sense. That is true. We aren't necessarily at the top anymore.
Which brings me to my next point. Like, how much of this shit is our government just like doing itself to create calamity among its people? Because it's kind of like, I feel like our government is like anti-Russia and anti-China, not necessarily because they're really threats, but because our government wants to maintain control over the citizens. And if, our government loses in a conflict to a foreign entity, then they're accepting another entity to gain control of us citizens. So it's kind of like our government's jealous, like, no, don't take our kids from us. Don't take our kids from us. So they stay in power and make us think like we fucking need them. And I mean, maybe to a degree we do need them, but maybe to a degree we don't. So like they make us think that we need them so they can control us because they don't want to lose control of another government gaining control of us.
See that already, right? They went from having the conservative face mask and now they're putting on the liberal face mask. And unite people. They want to unite people so they can go to these places for war because what's in these places? Fucking resources. That's
right.
What's there. Like, so they want to motivate you for that. Like they want to unify you on a certain concept. So they take whatever's popular at the time, whatever they see being like blowhorned the loudest, and they stand behind that. Capitalism is like that. It's like a faceless fucking snake, and it'll just take whatever to and support it. Whatever's giving it money. Like, so it'll consistently do that. Like, so yeah, like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these tornadoes are interesting too because I noticed the Amazon warehouse got fucked up and a few people died, and it's like I haven't seen Elon Musk issue a statement about how he cares about his employees yet.
Because he doesn't. He don't give a shit. He's like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
That man has like no soul, like, and no heart. I think he's like a small, like, villainous gray alien, like inside a robotic body that's like planning world domination. It's like poking buttons inside that little like hollow, soulless little fucking eyes.
He kind of seems like a movie character.
Yes. Yeah, no, God, no. Have you heard about that? The Amazon workers?
With regards to what?
The Amazon workers, like their conditions.
Oh yeah, I heard it's horrible. Yeah.
It's, oh my God, it's a fucking nightmare. Like, oh my God, like it's just horrid. Like, they're literally on fucking YouTube, like, help me, I'm dying, like, behind their eyes, but they're having to say, like, no, this is the greatest job ever. I have to piss in a bottle to make my time. Yeah. What happened to Killer B? He's still around?
I think he fell asleep.
Yeah, he was tired about falling asleep earlier. Like,
that's funny.
Right.
I always feel bad when a show host falls asleep because then it's like guys like us that came in, we take over the show.
Yeah. I was just talking because I thought he didn't have anything to talk about at the moment, so I was just trying to butt in until he like came up on a subject, and I was like, oh, shit, I kind of dominated it.
It's all good.
If you hear this when you wake up, Killer B, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep your show live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I might actually, since he's asleep, I might actually go ahead and step off. But it was fun talking to you.
Yeah, you too, bro. Might see you around the fringe corners of the internet someday again.
Yeah. I'm on here occasionally. I'm in the comments and shit. Occasionally, I'll jump on if he allows me. If it's okay with him.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, good talking to you, brother.
Yeah, take it easy, man. I'll subscribe. Take it easy.
All right, see you, dude.
All right, bye.
I'll probably sit in here for a few more minutes, see if Killer Bee comes back. I think he went to sleep. Well, I'm going to step out, guys. I'm assuming Killer Bee fell asleep. Still there, Killer Bee? All right. I'm stepping out, guys. Anyways, this is a good little show. Thanks for having me on, Killer Bee. Nice talking to everybody. And nice getting to know you, Robert, and anybody else that wanted to join. So I'm out of here. Later.